Yeah, she's a beauty. The best memories of my life I had here. Lived here from the time I was about 6, right at 7, up until I was about 11 or 12. I think my dad moved out when I was 12. My neighbors Matt and Dana lived down there. Used to play with their kid, uh, Matt's stepson, Dana's son, all the time. He's about 5 years younger than me, but he had a cousin that was a couple years older than him. We'd all three play every day, jump on a trampoline down there where that trailer is at, if you can even see it, double wide. Come out here and pretend I was a ninja from the video game Tenchu. Any one of them. Rikimaru, Onikage, Suzaku, and my favorite, Tetsumaru. And of course, Mortal Kombat, Scorpion, and so on. All the best sleepovers, all the best memories with my friends. This was the last place where I really enjoyed life, where I had a normal life, where I regularly socialized with friends, had a little respect, a little social status. People like me, I like people. That window on the far end is the kitchen, that's the living room. Yeah, I'm riding behind that chimney, scaring friends sometimes, my sisters, my friend Christopher once came over, got out of the car right about there, and didn't even make it up to that kitchen window before my sisters had already grabbed him and started beating him up for some reason, just for fun. So they watched pro wrestling from time to time back then too. It was all the buzz. Yeah. And I could walk around this place in a haze for days. Remember my old dog Poppy lived under that tree. Died somehow. Maybe he got bit by a spider or something. I don't know. Possibly a snake. My father actually bought that bridge right there. We had a little fence around that. I remember the sunny days coming home. That's a mistletoe tree too, by the way. You can maybe see the red tint in it. Barely see a red tint in it. Might show up as like brownish, but there's a lot of mistletoe in that tree. Sharp leaves. I remember it'd kind of stick in my feet sometimes when I walk over there. That little driveway wasn't there before either. It doesn't even lead to anything but the woods. Yeah, there's a lot more woods right there too. You couldn't really even see Matt and Dana's house. We had a little clubhouse out there in the woods. We had a few, at least two, sometimes maybe as many as three, where we hang out in the woods. My school was just like a little 4-minute drive from here. There was no trees there. You could probably see it. Wasn't far. Yeah. I really wish I could stay here all day. Kind of nervous about sticking around. I was scared a dog was going to jump out and bite me a minute ago. There's a doghouse over on the other side of the house, but there's nothing in it. The floors are just completely torn out of the house. It looks like they're going to tear it down. There's a sign up on the front window. County of Spartanburg something. County of Spartanburg notice. Perhaps for condemnment. Whoever was staying here wasn't taking good care of it. My father, that bridge is still here. When we lived here, he took care of this place. Permit, inspection card, post, on site. Date 12/22/2020. That's just in December of this year. There's the old bathroom. There's the old fireplace. It's a shame. I hope they don't tear it down. There's still probably a pretty healthy, solid frame here. The outside of the house actually doesn't look so bad. Could be pressure washed a little. The roof looks great on it. I don't know who roofed it last. Could have been my father. He's come back to roof this house, I think, at least once since we moved out. And I think my old kindergarten teacher, 4-year-old kindergarten teacher, first teacher I had, she owns this house. And her family owned it. I think she lived in it when she was a kid, actually. But the outside looks great. The roof looks great. If the skeleton of the structure is strong, hell, just inspect the foundation and you can build back on top of it. Get all that old shit out of there and get all that old wood out of there. Excuse my language. And repair it. Repair the walls. If anything, this wall's been torn out. If I had about 40 grand, I just gut that whole place out, put new floor and new walls in it. Maybe as much as 50 grand, but I'd probably keep the this room right here as one room rather than that being a room and that being a room, because it's not a very large house. It's got about the same amount of square footage as your common trailer. I think it's only like, heck, I don't even know. Yeah, my father, he put this little wooden platform here over a well, and there's a stone platform under it to cover the well as well, and that was my room. I remember my mom was kind of concerned about me having a room with a door to it, but I mean, I had little ninja stars and swords and a kitchen full of knives right there next to me. Show you the kitchen. That's my window. I used to play like it was a drive-through back when I was about 8, just barely any older than my little brother Lakin. He's only about a year and a half younger than, he's actually only about a half of a year younger than what I was when we moved in here. There's the kitchen, and there's my room. My room probably starts right about there. That little gray box. Boom. On over. My mom said my cousin James is laying in bed once, and the cat or dog of mine left a mess in the bed, and he rolled around in it a little. Was not too happy about that. There's little flags out here too to mark something. I don't know, maybe it's a septic tank right here. Maybe they're looking like at property lines or something. I don't know. It's just 4 small pink flags, so I don't think it stands for like a property line. But yeah, I think, yeah, this tree was standing when I lived here. I used to throw my ninja stars at it. And I'd sit back and throw ninja stars at it. I'd try to climb up on the branch. And I actually think it got cut down while I lived here as well. It's too bad I didn't have enough documentation of that time of my life. I could probably use it to lift myself out of depression and even launch myself forward in life for the rest of my life and be happy, which is my goal. And I'm failing at it right now. But, yeah. Yeah, if I had more recording equipment, and even if I kept a journal back then, it would have been great. I wonder about journals and writings and scribblings that I may have made when I was going to Cooley Springs Elementary School. I might have documented some of the events that took place here. I could jog my memory, stir up some of the old chemical formulas or balance formulas that you experience with nostalgia. They put you back in a similar state of mind and mood and consciousness as what you had at that time. And yeah, if I could get back in the state of mind that I had when I lived here, man, I'd be on top of the world. I was a king when I lived here. That's how I felt every day. Beat all my friends in every fight we had. Even beat my older friends, my cousins. Made my cousin Robbie cry once. Gave him my elbow. He was wrestling on the couch when it was up against the living room wall. Right there, I think the window was behind it, and yeah, We was wrestling, he pushed me back, and I seen the opportunity and just dropped the elbow right on his back. Made him cry. He cried till they left. Never used the fireplace, I don't think, while we lived here. I do remember laying in front of the fireplace watching wrestling one of the times that we actually had cable TV when we lived here. Because we were fairly poor when we lived here and didn't have cable all the time. But one time when we did, I was watching, I think, Monday Night Raw, laying on my back. The TV is catty cornered in that corner right there. I was laying right by the fireplace. And I just remember feeling something crawl on me and didn't think nothing of it. I thought it was a spider and kind of leaned, like set up a little bit like the Undertaker and looked around, didn't see nothing. Lay back down, I think I had a pillow under my head or maybe just my arm. Remember, I just kind of sat back and laid on my arm, and a couple moments passed, and boom, I felt something just tat, 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 tat right on the bottom of my chin. It's a spider. Smacked that something going right off me. I don't know if I ever laid down so comfortably on the floor at 10 o'clock at night ever again. I did during the day all the time. I remember when our couch was up against that window, my little friend, little John, came over, and sometime in the winter, maybe 2000, 2001, perhaps even 2002. I think it was 2001. So we had Christmas lights all up and down there. Man, I wish I had some pictures. I just remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards there at the table in the living room and in the kitchen. I wish I still had all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I lived here. I threw them away like a moron. And I had the idea so many times to bury a secret stash here. And honestly, kind of feel like I did. I just can't remember what I buried and where. I feel like I buried something in the backyard around that back corner back there, way back on the back end of the house. And I always thought about burying something in the walls in my room, which I think I might have, but I think I probably retrieved it. Might have been an action figure, might have been some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and if I did, they were probably first edition, original generation Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which would be worth a killing right now. A first edition mint edition, which I never had, but a first edition ultra rare Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon is worth about $1,000 at least. You get it PSA graded, you can get about $5,000 for it if it's a 10. And you can go beyond that. I did have a first edition Buster Blader. I believe it was a first edition, yeah, because I remember my mom pointed it out. She was laying in her room one night and I showed it to her. She looked at it, she said, "Oh, it's shiny. And look, it's a first edition too." I was like, "Well, what's that mean?" She's like, "Oh, well, it's the first print. It's worth more." At the time, I didn't totally get it. I kind of understood it, but I just thought to myself, one of those pragmatic thoughts where it's like, well, what difference does it make? All of them that are printed at this time are close enough together, just like the second print, the Unlimited edition, that were printed maybe 3 months later, are just as old. But that mark says that it was of the first line that it was printed. The game could have been canceled for lack of popularity. There could have been issues in the economy. It makes it more rare, sort of like those coins from the 1940s when they had to print pennies with steel or something. They're worth like $10,000 now for that single penny that collectors pay. All right. Oh, that could have been a bad situation. It's a dog. It's probably one of Matt's dogs, actually. Which would explain why he's friendly and he didn't try to maul me. He looks like he's got a little pit bull in him. Surprised it didn't turn me into lunch. He's looked at me like a good old friendly neighbor. Good dog. Yeah, I'm petrified of dogs. I got attacked by my dog Simba, who caused a little bit of an issue when we first moved up here, growling at the neighbors' kids, Jamie and Ethan and Eli, and I think Dale, Eli's stepfather, related to Matt through family, not to be mistaken for my stepfather Dale, but he I think he shot Simba just to do away with the lingering threat. Simba kept getting off the cord. We couldn't keep him put up. And he did what was most convenient to protect the kids and everybody down there. It's too bad though. I'd have liked to have kept Simba put up. He probably would have lived a few more years. His daughter Dixie, I think it was, might have been his granddaughter, but I think it was Simba's daughter Dixie. These were chow dogs, by the way. They're like lions. He's pretty ferocious, but I think she lived to be 17 or 18. She lived all the way up until about 4 years ago, up until about 2017. That's just 3 years ago. Well, yeah, it's about 4 years ago now. Might have been 2018. I can't remember. She lived a long time though. It was healthy every day of her life. Oh man, when I lived here, man, my uncle Kenneth lived here. The power was out in 2002. We had about 10 inches of snow. My buddy Ethan was still alive. I went by his house earlier today and just kind of reminisced. And the grass has grown up. It looks like Elizabeth probably moved out. And who knows, maybe she felt it's time to move into another place, upgrade, or maybe nobody's cutting her grass for her. There's no car there. I can imagine she probably feels, if she's living there alone, it can be kind of depressing. Being alone is depressing enough, but that was the last house that Ethan was in, and it's just that's very heavy emotion. And it kind of makes me sad. This is where I bonded with Ethan at. He passed away in 2014. My uncle Kenneth died in 2013 of a moped wreck. Ethan died in 2014 of a vehicle accident as well. And yeah, it makes me really sad. Just remember that memory where Uncle Kenneth had one of those mistletoes from that tree, and he was just goofing off. But we walked into the kitchen. He was like, "Oh, look, there's a mistletoe. Kiss me." My little friend Ethan was like, "Ah, you're ugly," and ran off. Or no, he's just kind of like got startled and ran off. Of course, we were all goofing around or whatever. My Uncle Kenneth's response was hilarious. No one wants to kiss your little ugly self anyway. It's a good memory. I mean, you had it been there. I can't really deliver it, but yeah, I work on my comedic delivery skills and storytelling, but it's a great memory. I remember giant mushrooms used to grow on that tree. We'd break them with sticks. I was kind of scared I'd get some type of disease or virus or something from where it'd start growing in me or in my lungs or something. Mom also, I think, mentioned a few times not to hang around that tree too much just in case a branch fell. That thing's still very healthy. And honestly, I'd like to get a picture of it from back when we lived here 20 years ago because it's that much larger. Although I guess it probably is. It grew with me anyway, so if it didn't grow at all, yeah, it'd probably look a little bit smaller. I think it was a pretty good bit smaller when we lived here. I think the top of it, instead of being where it's at now, was probably in and around where the top of my finger's at, right there, right over the line of my finger. So it probably just arched over about like so. So it's grown about 10 to 20 feet, I guess. Hmm. Now I remember times I'd come out here and meditate in the rain. And just fantasize about ninjas. I remember a dream I had one night. I was on a ship in Tenchu to Birth of the Stealth Assassins at the end of the game, the Burning Dawn ship. And I was scaling up the stairs, leaping around acrobatically like a real ninja. It's the most amazing, vivid dreams of all time. Just fighting like Genbu and all the rest. It's just so much fun, such a great dream, such a great time in my life where dreams like that were always pleasant. Now dreams aren't so bad because I'm a little more pragmatic. I feel like they're not so difficult for me because I understand them. They're not as awesome as they used to be. I used to be so much happier, and I feel like it's reasonable to uh, believe that I could, or even one could, just enjoy life at the same level or even more now. For some reason, man, I just can't get back up to that level of joy, that level of everyday bliss. Uncle Kenneth and Nanny's gone. Uncle Bobby's gone. Aunt Teresa's gone. It's crazy. I remember sitting in my room one day playing a wrestling video game. My Aunt Teresa came over to visit one of the rare times she did for the 4th of July, and I sat in the room and played the game. I should have just came out here and watched fireworks with them and shot the breeze a little. I'm so addicted to my pro wrestling games. And I really appreciate the art of professional wrestling. I probably should have turned down my obsession with it a little bit and focused on other things. I wish I had better direction from my parents growing up. I really wish they had done a better job. I don't guess they were totally equipped. Parents didn't totally prepare them either. And who is this? Is that a dog? Yep. I remember looking over that view. The snow when that dang little cart house wasn't there. Ugh. You can see the lake over on the other side. It's quite beautiful. I'm tempted to get out, but I don't want to risk getting bit by a dog. I'm also physically fit and capable of beating the crap out of them to get them off of me. I also remember I used to pretend that this house was haunted. But anyway, let me go ahead and crank on up the car and take a sip of my Coke. Too white, but it's all right. All right. Of course. Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I think my 7th Christmas too up here. We had bicycles and TVs and VCRs. We got showered with gifts that year. It was quite awesome. I also remember Ethan's mom Elizabeth used to speed up and down this driveway. My mom was worried about me getting hit. Never happened. Thankfully. Knock on wood. I want to jinx it. Yeah, you can see the water down there. It's right there, underneath my finger. It's a light color, kind of reflecting a little. Yeah, you imagine that being out of the way. Just looking over the snow, a little creek from the porch there. We had a little porch swing right there on that end. I remember, I think it might have been my 9th birthday. I slipped playing fetch with a friend. I forget who it was. I was playing ball with one of my sister's friends, I think, or somebody. I can't remember. But I remember I slipped and bam! My 2 feet, I came back on my toes. It was a little bit slippery out here. Slipped right out from under me. I went to grab the ball and boom, just hit my head. Clunk, right on that concrete. Might be part of what's wrong with my mind today. Also, 7, right after we first moved here, I had a terrible bicycle wreck. And got a scar I'll show you guys later and tell you more about that story later. But it looked like I got run over. My parents literally thought I did get run over from someone, maybe even Elizabeth or something. Like, when they first saw me, they thought I got run over, like legit. Because that's just how terrible I looked. I look like Scarface. Had a gash deep enough to stick like the first crease of my pinky into it, swollen. So I could, it was like that deep. And I got some morphine at the hospital when they started stitching me up then, and started singing an old popular radio song at the time. I've been sitting here. Or, well, only God knows why. It's the name of the song by Kid Rock. Great memory. A lot of good memories, a lot of good times here. Want to continue to enjoy life the same way and continue on that tradition in my day-to-day life now. I just don't even know where to start to repair everything and get everything up and moving like it was then. then there's then there's karate pictures I took right after my parents' divorce. Very strange time in my life, man. I was so confused, man. I still haven't even been able to recover from it. I don't know what to think of all that. The way my parents divorced, it was just such a shocker. I thought my mom was a very proper person. Man, do I have a story for you guys. Divorced my father out of the blue. Uh, Talking to one of his co-workers and dating him. It's just terrible. Or one of his workers, somebody worked under him. It's a long story. I don't really want to get into it on this video, but yeah, went from like a beautiful, normal family. I was happy every day here. The sun was shining. I'd ride my bicycle up and down this road every day. Remember the WrestleMania song for Triple H's return? It's a beautiful day. That song would just play in my head as I was riding up and down this driveway in my bicycle, pretending I was one of the Hardy Boys, the Undertaker. He used to always portray really cool characters. Hanging out with my buddy BJ. Play out here. I remember him and Christopher fought out here one time. I instigated them to fight because I was, a troublemaker a little bit. I think they both gave each other a black eye. I kind of feel bad. I wish I'd been a better friend to everybody back then too. Again, it goes back to the guidance I wish I had when I was a kid. Man, I could use a good therapist. Carl Jung books, man. I can't sit down and focus and read well enough to retain it all. I know the information's there, and maybe I got the capacity to interpret it, but I just can't figure it out. I can't get my mind to organize well enough to do it. Got to figure out how psychometrics work well. Anyway, there's a stroll down memory lane. Hopefully this place isn't tore down. It could be. I mean, the floor is all torn out, so I don't know if that's when we're repairing it or not. Maybe I could get in contact with Miss Carter and see what she thinks. I wonder, because my mom and my stepdad are thinking about selling their house. And a little portion of their money, maybe about 40 grand out of 300. I could bomb the bottom of this house, set a concrete floor under it to keep spiders from crawling in. Check all the walls, repair them. Check the attic, repair it, repair the wood. Go all the way through it, all the way around it, repair that chimney. And just make sure there's no bugs in here, make sure everything's sealed off, make sure there's no mold. And then replace all the walls and the flooring as you see fit. And the insulation, make it a little fireproof, And, cut the grass, maybe refinish some of the concrete around. This concrete's, of course, always been here. It's just be a great place to fix up. We could buy it for about 40 grand in the shape it's in, maybe 50 counting the acres of property around it. And then just, who knows, man, maybe pour another 40 into it for about 90 to 100 grand and have a house. A really nice house. And that's one I'd love to stay at too. It'd be perfect for me. Perfect little bachelor pad. To take my sister's old bedroom and my parents' old bedroom and combine them. And that'd make a room relative to the size of the room I have now. Not quite as wide, but just about as long. And then maybe expand the bathroom a little. Yeah, I could turn my old if anything, actually I could probably just turn that whole half of the house into my new room. Or actually what I do is turn that room maybe into a bathroom. I don't know, I'll re-edit this later. give you guys my little blueprint fantasy. Anyway, thank you for watching, and you guys all have a great time.